There are some football conspiracy theories out there that do hold some ground. LasagnaGate, Ronaldo in the 1998 World Cup final, doping, etc, etc. However, in amongst all those, there are some of the most outlandish theories made by crackpot fans eating pot noodles in their basement. Welcome to Halftime Football, and today we'll be going through the absolute worst of football conspiracy theories. Now, I'll start off with the one that actually inspired this video, and it's the fact that Lionel Messi, Andrés Iniesta and the rest of the Barcelona team in 2011 were actually working together with Syrian rebels to oust President Bashar al-Assad. This story, which aired on Al Dunya, a Syrian TV station, claimed that the passing patterns of Messi, Iniesta and Pedro in a 2012 Copa del Rey quarter-final match were actually communicating the best directions on a map for the Lebanese people to smuggle weapons to the Syrian rebels. The commentator pulled up this map and claimed this was irrefutable evidence. He said, "Here we see the first stage where arms are loaded from Lebanon. Then they pass through Homs and are delivered to another terrorist. We also see how they warn that they will face some obstacles until they reach Deir al-Zor. Then they're transported by bus to the final destination located in Al-Magadin." Because logically, Pep Guardiola wanted to see Damascus descend into chaos. Some have actually speculated that this ludicrous claim was actually government propaganda, though another source claimed that this was actually produced by the rebels to make al-Assad seem foolish. No matter what it was, this was one of the worst attempts at a football conspiracy theory I've ever seen. Now onto the wonderful world of Reddit for this one, and it's the reason why Pep Guardiola actually didn't join Juventus in 2019. Now around that time, rumours were absolutely flying about the Catalans' future, with the very reputable journalist agency AGI detailing the contract Pep would be signing alongside when he would join the Bianconeri. Obviously this didn't happen, and it left many people shell-shocked as to why AGI would report fake news. Well, apparently it wasn't fake news at all. The story goes that Zinedine Zidane was actually the one who blocked off his bold rival's move to Juventus, and this all happened because of an incident at a golf course. Supposedly, after the challenging 18-19 season, Pep went to Spain to play some of his beloved golf with his family, and while he was there, he met Gareth Bale and his family. For some unknown reason, Zinedine Zidane's wife was also there at the golf course, and it's said that Bale, Pep and Mrs Zidane engaged in a threesome, which Mr Zidane walked in on while it was happening. Now, Zidane actually knew that Pep had a verbal agreement in place to join Juventus, which is a job that Zidane really wanted, and he soon realised that if Pep actually took that job, he would likely have success for years on end, and it would diminish Zidane's chances of ever actually getting the job. Logically, he then decided to blackmail Pep. He is said to have proposed an ultimatum to Pep in which he backed out of the deal, and if he didn't, he would go to the media exposing the dirty secret between Bale, Pep and Mrs Zidane. Obviously, Pep, wanting to maintain his squeaky clean image, decided to go with the former, and he stayed at City ever since. Even though this is most likely 100% fake, it was still an amazing read, so I'd like to thank the Reddit user who actually wrote this. Though he's since deactivated his account, I can't imagine why. We'll move away from the people of Reddit to another group of mythical aliens, the Illuminati. Cast your minds back to the 2014 World Cup quarter-finals, when Brazilian starboy Neymar was absolutely battered from behind by Camilo Zaniga, thus fracturing his third vertebrae. He was quickly rushed to A&E for emergency procedures, and he was wheeled in on a stretcher while covering his face with a cloth of some kind. Now, why would he do this? Well, obviously because it wasn't him, but a stunt double on the stretcher, as the Illuminati have theorised. Photos of what was claimed to be Neymar emerged of him missing a tattoo during his trip to the hospital, which obviously could never have been photoshopped, but the real kicker here was the fact that all his medical documents were destroyed to protect his privacy. Definitely a fake Neymar. Now the question is, why would a boy with the world at his feet competing on the biggest stage in his home nation fake an injury of such proportion? Because he was quite clearly scared of being beaten by Germany in the next round, and also so that the Brazilian team had something to blame their capitulation on. The funny thing is, so many people did at the time and still do hate Neymar in Brazil, so this story seriously did the rounds and further tarnished his already damaged reputation, all thanks to his twin brother taking one for the team. From one intelligence group with questionable motives to another, this next theory involves a Central Intelligence Agency, also known as the CIA. Now this theory won't exactly be memorable to anyone except 50-plus-year-old men given the context, so if you weren't aware, England's exit to West Germany in the 1970 World Cup came down to one major reason. England's heroic goalkeeper Gordon Banks actually came down with food poisoning before the game, and in his place came Chelsea legend Peter Bonetti. Bonetti then let in 2 howlers against the Germans, leading many to question the legitimacy of Banks' condition, and from that arose this theory. rumour has it that the CIA were monitoring the tense political situation in Brazil, and they assumed that a World Cup win would raise the spirits of Brazilians and have them put their political backlash to the side, even if temporarily. England were expected to reach the final and face Brazil, and it was thought that the English would absolutely sweep the Seleção aside, since their squad was arguably stronger than the one who won Jules Rimet on home soil 4 years prior. To avoid this, the CIA knew they had to stop England from getting to the final, so they hired a CIA operative to actually slip a poisoning agent into Gordon Banks' drink, which would cause him to miss the all-important game against West Germany. This is obviously what happened, and it definitely wasn't because Banks and the whole England team had too much dodgy Mexican cerveza, is it? The theories of overwhelming influence from intelligence in football don't stop there, however, with this next theory coming from Vladimir Putin's camp. Allegedly, former Arsenal baller Andrey Arshavin was actually a Russian spy who was funded by Kremlin chief Sergei Rachmaninoff, who paid for intensive training as well as using his influence to get him into Zenit's team at the start of his career. This was supposedly leaked through NSA documents, from which also emerged the fact that Andrey Arshavin's codename was actually Red Fox. The Russian government even went so far as to fabricate transfer rumours for the winger's move to Barcelona in order to further sell his cover story. Also, Arshavin was injured a lot during his time at Arsenal, wasn't he? Of course he wasn't. He was actually gathering information in and around London which he would relay to his Kremlin overlords. And do you remember bang-average Russian strikers Roman Pavlyuchenko and Pavel Pogrebniak? Well, there's only one logical reason they earned their moves to the Premier League, and this was to actually assist Arshavin in his disguise as well as aid his eventual escape back to Russia. See, this all sounds well and good until you realise no one has actually shown these supposed NSA documents, and think about it like this for a second. Putin is one of the most broad intelligence agencies in the world, poisoning people with nerve agents and making people who disagree with him disappear. Why on earth would he plant a random footballer at Arsenal purely for spying on the English capital? Are you trying to tell me that his 4 goals against Liverpool actually represented a pattern? You know, a pattern for Russian soldiers to smuggle arms into London at the start of World War III? I think I've just unearthed a whole new conspiracy. Anyway, from one nation fond of genocide to another, let's take a look at Germany's 2006 World Cup bid. The Germans found themselves in the final running for hosting the centrepiece of world sport, and German satire magazine Titanic actually claimed to have pushed the final voting battle against South Africa in Germany's favour. Chief editor of the magazine, Martin Sonneborn, supposedly sent out a fax to the 24 voting delegates offering the strangest bribes I've ever heard of in world football history. The fax offered a fine basket with specialties from the Black Forest, including some really good sausages, ham, and hold on to your seat, a wonderful cuckoo clock, and a beer mug too. Do we leave you any choice? Yes, I'm reading that verbatim, they actually supposedly said that. Anyway, the faxes were somehow passed on to the delegates in a manner which seemed really official, and wouldn't you know it, Germany beat South Africa to the voting by 1 point. This was purely because one delegate, Jack Dempsey, abstained because of the pressure of receiving too many bribes. Whether you believe that Titanic's meat offerings played any role in this is up to your own interpretation. Personally, I think it's absolute baloney, haha, which is why it's in this video, but each to their own, I suppose. There are also some theories in general that are just absolutely awful and unfounded, and one of these comes with the dreaded African witch doctor shaman curse. Yaya Touré's agent claims Man City will never win a Champions League thanks to witch doctors who have planted a curse on the club. And this is definitely the reason why they've not won it, not because of Pep Guardiola's tactical nonsense in the competition. There's also the one about Benfica never being able to win another European Cup thanks to legendary coach Bela Gutmann, who claimed after a board dispute that the Portuguese club would never win the competition for another century. People often point to this as a reason why Benfica fail in Europe, completely forgetting that they don't have Eusebio anymore and they're actually light years away from Europe's elite. There's also the Aaron Ramsey curse, which, while interesting, made 0 sense, in which every single time he would score a goal, a celebrity would die, with this happening on 23 separate occasions. You know, definitely not because a celebrity dies every day, it's obviously because of Ramsey, right? And finally, I'd like to present the absolute worst theory of all that I found on Reddit, and it's this one, which reads, Alex Ferguson and Evra conspired to get Suarez banned. If this was the case, what did the dialogue even go like? Oi Patrice, go stand next to Suarez and try to be as black as possible. Okay boss, I try my best. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy, please like and subscribe, and let me know if I missed any in this world of crackpot conspiracy theories. There are definitely some more. But yeah, thank you very much for watching again, and I'll see you next time.